all, how we can differentiate between knowledge and wisdom. So there are some variables, and based on that we can make some differentiation between both. Knowledge is quantifiable while wisdom is unquantifiable. You can quantify knowledge, you can test your knowledge. If you have history degree, you can test your knowledge. If you have mathematics or any other discipline's knowledge, you can always test your knowledge. But can you test your wisdom? We cannot. It's not. We cannot quantify wisdom. We can easily pass knowledge from one generation to another generation. However, wisdom, we just live on that perspective. We cannot pass on wisdom from one generation to another generation. Knowledge is more based on theory, while wisdom is in practice, how we act, how we make decisions. And knowledge is replaceable over the period of time, however, wisdom is not. The way we think, the decision we make that makes us wise, it's not replaceable. Right now we are living in the era of knowledge, which started from the 20th century. In this era, societies have been facing many economic, cultural and political changes, like you can see technological progress, globalization. However, the advanced technology helped us to reduce poverty at world level. And according to New Zealand Center of Education Research, the knowledge age is a new advanced form of capitalism in which knowledge and ideas are the main source of economic growth. So in this knowledge era, we have basically including technology as well. And the goal of that is to have mainly economic growth. So the knowledge-based economy is basically an expression coined to describe trends in advanced economies towards greater dependence on knowledge, information, and high skill levels, and the increasing need for ready access to all of those by the businesses and public sectors. And knowledge and technology have become increasingly complex, raising the importance of links between firms of the organization as a way of acquired specialized knowledge. And a parallel economic development has been the growth of innovation in services in advanced and developed economies. And in other words, you can say knowledge economy is basically the economy of too much, because we are producing everything it's too much. So it's not equally distributed among all the nations, but still in developed countries, advanced economies, you will see we are producing so much variety of products and so many different variety of services as well. So you can also consider that the economy of too much, where we are producing everything a lot. And how it's creating another issues that I'm going to discuss later on. However, if we talk about the wisdom economy, the term wisdom economy was first introduced by Earl Cook in 1980s. So it's not a new phenomena. In 1980, this economist, he used this concept first. It is characterized as the wise application of knowledge. Of course, we need knowledge, but what is the wisdom economy? When we use this knowledge to have some wise application and action. A wisdom economy doesn't ignore knowledge, but recognizes the value is attached to the ethical and social framework within which that knowledge is used. And also, wisdom recognizes that values and value judgments are implicit in the way we live, and that we need to be open about them. Now let's compare the knowledge-based economy and wisdom-based economy. So, knowledge economy is innovative, while wisdom economy is reflective. when we talk about knowledge economy, we try to accumulate more and more knowledge. We try to innovate more and new technology. Why? Because the ultimate goal is to have more growth, higher growth, and more accumulation of wealth. While the goal of wisdom economy is reflective, and we ask question, what is the purpose of this new technology? How we can use this new technology for our human being? Next, we can compare knowledge economy wants more. By innovating new technology, by innovating new productive techniques, the goal is how we can produce more, while wisdom economy is based on the concept of enough. Wisdom defines the prosperity as a state of sufficiency. The knowledge economy insists on qualification first. Qualification gives us a job. If you have higher qualification, you will get higher paid job. Based on your qualification, there is a demand and you get your job. However, wisdom economy is based on the qualities which makes a person, which makes a worker a better worker. So that's the difference between the knowledge and wisdom economies. Also, the knowledge economy is competitive, and people, they think about themselves, me focused. They don't worry about others. However, wisdom based economy is collaborative, where they work towards the whole society, and the focus is we, not me. The knowledge economy is technological. We adopt new technology to increase personal fortune regardless of unintended consequences. It's more technology based. However, wisdom economy is both, not only technology but human also, and more interested in how it is deployed that can help our humans. Now, if we discuss the labor force, which is one of the important component in economics, how we can differentiate workers or labor force in knowledge economy and wisdom economy. In knowledge economy, labor force or workers are more qualified from the outside, while in wisdom economy, it's the balance of inward and outward perspective, and which is the understanding of their obligation of yourself and with others and with the society. In the knowledge-based economy, laborers, they mainly focus on objective, and of course all knowledge is possible, so they run towards gathering more and more knowledge, while wisdom economy believes knowledge changes and it is more or less relevant based on the subjective change within themselves. Knowledge economy seeks to control their external environment. Knowledge economy develops new technology, and based on that, they try to control the external environment, while the wisdom economy seeks to gain meaning of their environment through self-reflection and through dialogue with others. So that's the differences between labor force. So it is clear we need knowledge. We cannot imagine our life without knowledge. We all need knowledge. But that's not the only thing. If knowledge could solve our problems, Wikipedia would have saved the world, right? So yes, we need knowledge, but we have to add the value judgment with the knowledge, and we need to move towards wisdom. We also add in the knowledge economy, in one economic theory, we have some economists here. So you can see we have this theory, we call it the law of diminishing marginal utility, which is simply as you have more of a thing, you reduce the utility or satisfaction of that good. So actually you can apply that law with the knowledge also. We can see as we have more and more accumulation of knowledge, it can have some negative impact also. So there are two impact you can see. First one is analysis paralysis. So we become so obsessed about collecting more and more information, we forget how to act on it. So that's the, like, now we have knowledge on our fingertips. Sometimes when you ask a question from your students, they just want to take their phones and they just want to Google it if they don't know. So since we know we have knowledge in this small box, we don't worry about that, and we forget to use that knowledge. We know we have knowledge, but we don't act on it. Also, intellectually lazy. We have so much information, abundance of information, abundance of knowledge. Everybody can be a scholar in this knowledgeable world because we have everything on this box. And that there is some good effect of that, but as also we have negative effect like intellectually lazy. Since we know we have all the information, we don't work hard to enhance our knowledge, our personal knowledge. So it is making us intellectually lazy as well. So you can see we can apply this law of diminishing marginal utility in the knowledge. So now I want to talk about how we can use our academia to make the change in the world, how our students can be prepared for this wisdom economy. So because Nelson Mandela, he has said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And we are the one, all the educators, we are the one who have that weapon which we can use to make some changes that can lead our student, our new future generation towards wisdom economy that this world needs now these days. So how you can educate about the wisdom? It is, I found it very difficult, but as I was doing the research, I have found some strategy. But wisdom, you cannot teach like this a degree for wisdom. It's not a diploma. Wisdom includes an intuitive element, and wisdom is an insight gained from the personal experience. You cannot exactly, like, you cannot teach this is the wisdom and you have to take classes and you have to take tests and you have the knowledge. It's based on your personal experience. You have to go through to understand and to have the experience of that. Seeking wisdom is not the same as gaining knowledge. Knowledge you can gain based on the system we have. If you want to be to know, if you want to get a degree in history, you can simply go and get the degree of history, but you cannot get the degree of wisdom. Wisdom is a continual process that you experience over the period of time. So from my perspective, based on my research, I found there should be some goal of higher education, and I believe those goals can be helpful to achieve the goal of wisdom in higher education. So our teaching should be based on future consciousness, personal and ethical character development, higher cognitive practices that Dr. King was shared before. Our teaching model should be based on deep learning, critical thinking, and creativity. Those are the models that can help building wisdom in our future generation. Also, communication, interpersonal skills, and composition, historical consciousness, global and cultural consciousness, and social consciousness, ecological and environmental consciousness, science and technological awareness. So our courses should be focused on these goals. So during my research, I found there are some models which are based on these goals. So one was a course on living wisely by Leland Beaumont. So he suggested this pyramid of learning to get the experience of wisdom. one should take the personal responsibility of the situation. It will make the clear thinking, and that becomes make a person living wisely. So that's the learning pyramid suggested by Leland. And high impact educational practices should be adopted in our education system by our educator. Teaching must change fundamentally from the delivery of information to the development of critical thinking. So our teaching should be based on how we can enhance critical thinking among our students. In this era where you can feel how students, even though they are in class, but they are not in the class. So it becomes more difficult for educators how we can enhance this quality among our students. We have the problem I face. We have models that we can adopt in our classes, but our students, they are not prepared for that. There is something else that needs to be changed. We must transfer our classroom practices accordingly, and as a teacher, we must move away from the limelight of expertise to the more challenging role of guiding students to think, assess, integrate, and apply. So we have discussed that before. It is very difficult to adopt all those in classes. We have all the theories and models, but the problem is when we try to apply that in class, we are not as successful as we should be. So I want to discuss some tools of higher education. We should include common intellectual experience. Courses should be built on these tools. Learning, we can use the learning communities, writing intensive courses, collaborative assignments and projects, diversity, global learning, project-based learning, service learning, internships, and capstone courses. And you all might have known about these tools, but how many of us are using that? So that's a main question arises, and when we try to use that, how successful we are. So I teach economics, so what I believe for each courses that we teach, we should try to integrate the tools of higher education to enhance the wisdom teaching in our courses. So like in my class, what I do, I have a project-based learning concept where students, they have to prepare a project based on the micro or macroeconomics concept that they choose. And the goal is how they can learn while they are doing the project, how they can learn about the ethics, how they can learn about the creativity, how they can apply the critical thinking on that project. So I think all the other disciplines should include all those tools on their teaching. And at the end, I would like to share this quote, which is in Rockefeller Center. It says, "Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of the times, and we could sure use some more stability in these troubled times." So we know this in this era, as we are in knowledge economy, but we can see the reflection or effect of those economies in our day-to-day life. So, but moving towards wisdom economy or towards wisdom can resolve some issues in the future. Thank you.
So we can open the floor to discussion. I think she has raised several things, what to do in the classrooms, and yeah.
I think you made some excellent points in many ways. You've extracted something like the essence of what Roz